What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of The Breakdown. And just like that, after all the talk, after all the hard work to get home court advantage throughout the playoffs, the Western Conference Finals, in one game, the Houston Rockets have surrendered home court advantage to the Golden State Warriors, 119 to 106 in Game 1. And in this video, a little bit later in the video, we're going to look at the reasons why Houston lost this game 119 to 106. And I believe that their attention to detail on defense just quite was not there, had some miscommunications. And those are things that Houston can clean up if they want to stay in this series. If Houston continues to not pay attention to detail on defense, I'm going to roll with Charles Barkley and say this thing's going to be a sweep. But at this point, I'm still going to stick to my original prediction is 6 games. And some things in the film that we're going to watch are some of the things that I talked about in my series prediction video, which you guys can actually go back and check that out in the description of this video. And I'll also put a link up on this video for my series prediction video at the end of this video. So you will see that pop up at the end of this video. So definitely go check that out because I definitely have film session there as well. So let's get into this game right here. I'm not going to spend too much time talking before we go to the film. James Harden had a monster game and they still lose by double digits. He had 41 points. Chris Paul chipped in 23, but he was not that efficient from the floor, and his defense was not that good either. And so you're going to see that in the film. Houston's definitely going to need to get more they're going to need to get more from the bench. Eric Gordon had a decent game off the bench, 15 off the bench, but they're going to need more than that off the bench. And on the Golden State side, Durant chipped in about 37. Clay chipped in 28 to go with that. And then Steph Curry had a modest game with 18 points. So I think as we can see is that Harden and Durant, they both did their things, but Durant seemed to get more help from his teammates than Harden did. And I think in this series, both of these teams are built the way where no one person on either team is going to make the difference. It's going to be the others that make the difference in winning and losing. And then it's also going to be effort on defense as well. And those are some of the things that we're going to point out in the film. But this game went just as I thought it was going to go. I figured that in one of the first 2 games and had a pretty good feeling in the first game that Golden State would take home court advantage away from the Houston Rockets for some of the things that I pointed out in my series prediction video. I just don't know if Houston really has the pieces that really can beat the Golden State Warriors. And I feel that Golden State is more suited to be able to switch the screens on the defensive end guarding Houston, whereas Houston, they really just switching a lot of screens is really not going to play to their advantage. And I think we saw that with guys like Chris Paul switching on to Kevin Durant, James Harden switching on to Kevin Durant, and sometimes James Harden just outright guarding Kevin Durant. And I just have no idea what Mike D'Antoni was thinking there. I just want to first start off by saying that nobody's going to stop Kevin Durant, even if you put a bigger guy on Kevin Durant. But putting a bigger guy on Kevin Durant like a Trevor Ariza or a Luc Mbah a Moute or even a PJ Tucker, he's not bigger, but he's physical. Putting those guys on Kevin Durant could make it tougher for Kevin Durant. And with a great player like Kevin Durant, that's all you want to do is just make it as tough as you can. But if you have guys like Eric Gordon, Chris Paul, and James Harden on Kevin Durant, you're not making it tough at all because he doesn't even see those guys' hands. He's just rising up over them. And, I mean, you might as well call it a layup from wherever he's shooting from. So the Houston Rockets definitely need to make some adjustments to their defensive game plan. But before they do that, they definitely need to pay more attention to detail and give more effort on defense if they want to stay in this series. Because if they don't, then I'm going to agree with Charles Barkley. I think this thing could be over in 4 games if they do not pay more attention to detail. However, I'm going to stick to my original prediction at this point. I'm still going to stick with Golden State in 6. And this is with Golden State coming out winning this first game, they're definitely making me look good, and they're making me look like the expert. But let's get into the film to understand why Houston lost this game, because the game really was a close game. It was tied up at halftime. Golden State exerted some of their will in the second half, and they were able to win it going away. But it was not a blowout. And some of the things that I'm going to point out in the film probably made the difference in winning or losing, or at least Houston having a better chance in the last 2 minutes to maybe get that game. So let's go to the film and check it out, and let's see where Houston messed up. Now, if you look at this play right here, you've got Chris Paul up top guarding Klay Thompson. And in this play, he's going to overhelp when he already has help, when there's no reason for him to be all the way in the lane helping when Capella was already there, which leaves Klay Thompson wide open, and I like my chances if Klay's got it. Now, in this particular clip right here, no mistakes by Houston here, but just wanted to point out how Golden State moves without the ball, and that's what Curry did right there, and I think that's what separates them from Houston. Now, in this clip right here, Houston's lack of attention to detail bites them. PJ Tucker's supposed to have Kevin Durant, but he doesn't want to give up the open three to Curry, now leaving Durant wide open for the open one, and Eric Gordon gets caught in no man's land. Now, in this clip right here, Chris Paul's going to get caught overhelping once again when there was already help, and Swaggy P's a great three-point shooter, and he overhelps when there was already help, leaving Swaggy P wide open, and there was only 4 seconds to go on the shot clock. Now, sometimes defense just comes down to plain outright effort, and James Harden's got to do his work a lot earlier than this, because right here, Kevin Durant posted him deep in the paint, able to turn around and get to his shot. He's got to do better than that and push him out a lot sooner. Once again, in this clip, it just comes down to effort, and a piss-poor effort by James Harden here. Curry doesn't even go full speed, and he still gets around him, and the help behind James Harden was piss-poor at best. Look at that. Too easy. So in this clip right here, Chris Paul's lack of attention to detail cost Houston. He's staring at the ball instead of seeing ball and man. He doesn't see what's going on behind him. He was supposed to switch off the screen with Swaggy P, and Klay Thompson's wide open for an easy one. On this clip right here, defensively, it should have been an easy switch. But for some reason, Chris Paul stays with the ball when Harden was already in good position, leaving Swaggy P wide open to tie the ball game up going into half, giving the Warriors a little momentum. The lack of attention to detail continued to doom the Houston Rockets. As Curry sets the down pick for Kevin Durant, you're going to notice PJ Tucker call for the switch, and Ariza does not switch it for some odd reason, leaving Kevin Durant wide open, and Ariza knows it's his fault. So in this clip right here, PJ Tucker asked for the switch with Clint Capella, but Clint Capella doesn't react soon enough, and Draymond recognizes this, forcing PJ Tucker to then come off of Klay Thompson to get back in the middle of the paint, leaving Klay Thompson wide open for the open one. So as you all can see by looking at the film, those are easy things that can be corrected by Houston, but it's going to take a little bit more effort and a little bit more paying attention to the details and not giving up easy buckets like that. Because if you want to beat the Warriors, you cannot give up the easy buckets just because you did not communicate. Just because you did not communicate correctly, the Warriors are going to make you pay. And that's what Chris Paul said in the postgame, is every mistake they made, the Warriors made them pay. And Chris Paul, along with the others, have got to pay attention to the details. It seems like the only one watching that film that was paying attention to the details of the game was PJ Tucker. And because of the lack of others, forced him off of his man to guard their man, and then his man ended up being the one scoring. But that's not his fault. So the Rockets in Game 2, it's a game that they can win. I would probably favor the Rockets to win the game. Wouldn't be surprised if Golden State does win. But it's a game the Rockets can win. But like you saw in the film, they have to pay attention to detail. And James Harden and Chris Paul, they've got to give more effort on the defensive end. This is not a team that you can rest on, because the Golden State Warriors have plenty of weapons. And if you rest just on one guy, they're going to make you pay for it. So what do you guys think Houston needs to do going into Game 2? And what did you think of Game 1? Leave your comments below, and I'm out.